Okay, if you turn something in, you got 100 for it. Okay, so don't, it's just to let you know what you needed to work on. If you did not actually do this and you looked up answers, which I can tell some of you did, between you guys and Zoomers or whatever, then just make sure that you're writing some stuff down. Okay, so on your final exam, you're going to be all calculator active, but there will be some like drag and drop answers. There will be some like put your numbers in answers. Y'all understand what I'm saying? So it's not all completely multiple choice. So just make sure that you're working really hard on all of these. Number one is a very easy question. It asks what the remainder is when x to the third minus 1 is divided by x plus 2. And as I was walking around, I saw some of you working on it, and the way that you were doing it was probably not the best way. But remember, when we divide, that we're going to use that synthetic division. You can use long as well. Make sure that you're taking notes. That's how you're going to get your credit for today or your assignment for today. It's just a matter of taking notes. Okay. All right, so synthetic division, remember, is when you make the backwards box. They like to do this on your final exam. You will have 3, 4, 5 questions on division, okay? So if you can get this, that's a lot of your test if you think about it. So you're going to make the backwards box, and whatever is in here, remember when we pull it outside of parentheses or put it in, we're going to change the sign to -2. And then we want to go in order. So right now we have x to the third minus 1, but we need to make sure that we go in order. So there is 0x squared. So you can do a minus, you can do a plus. I just always do minus. There are 0 x's, and there's a -1. Okay. So we're going to put those single numbers, no x's, no variables, in front. So we're going to line them up. It's a 1x cubed, a 0x squared, a 0x, and a -1. We skip a line and draw a line. We always bring down that first number. That's always your first step. Multiply it by the box. 1 times -2 is -2 when we put it under the second number. So again, multiply by the box. 1 times -2. We're going to add those up when we get -2. Multiply by the box. -2 times -2 is +4. We add those up. 0 plus 4 is 4. Multiply by the box. -2 times 4 is -8. Add that up. -1 plus -8 is -9. This last number is your remainder all the time. So your answer for this one should be -9. Okay. So I'm going to try to do all the easy ones first. So I'm going to flip through it, and then we'll get to the harder ones a little bit later. So this one's pretty easy. Now, if we were trying to figure out what the final function was or what the final expression is, remember, we'll drop it down. Instead of x third, this will be x squared minus 2x, keep dropping, and then +4 with no x's. And that's not even part of the problem. That's just me reminding you how to write it if they ask you to divide, because you'll have some of those. Okay, so your answer for this one is going to be -9. Any questions? All right, we're going to flip it over. Let's see what we got. I'm going to try to find the super easy ones first. So I'm going to just keep flipping through for a minute. Look at number 8. All right. So the good thing is they give you all absolute value equations. So we know that they're absolute value. This question should be really quick and simple. But remember, you get your calculator. So if you're not sure, you just use your calculator. So right now, what is our vertex? What is our vertex? 0, -2, right? So I went left or right, 0. I went down 2. If we look at our equations, Remember, the outside number tells us we went up or down. So it can't be this one because it doesn't have a -2 on it. And then both of these do not have an add or subtract any number, so that's perfect. But this one, the difference is it has a 2. That 2 deals with your slope, just like this one would have a 1. So this one is slope is 1, slope is 2. If we look, find your perfect points, we go up 2 and over 1. So what's my slope? 2. Has to be. All right, here's what I'm talking about. If you're not sure, guys, use this calculator, use Desmos. I don't care, Desmos will do it as well. Math and over to num gives you your absolute value and your y equals. You would have x get out of that -2. And we're going to graph it.
Pardon the interruption, teachers, but if you have a student coming in late from bus 97, they were running late today, we have bus issues. So if they're on bus 97, they are excused for being late.
Sorry, guys. And you can see that the difference is this one's really wide and this one's really skinny. Does everybody see that? All right. We know that B is the answer, so I'm going to show you the ones that are not the answers real fast. We have this one is a -2. So if I graph it, you guys can see that it shifted to the right. Is everybody good? So it's just a matter of putting it in. The last one is 2x -2 inside. So if you look at this one, it's still the same thing. It's going to be shifted to the right. Okay. So it's literally a matter of putting it. Guys, I always have this saying, and this is going to sound dumb, and please don't think that I'm super dumb for saying it. But if you're in the jungle and an animal eats your right arm off and you are right-handed, what do you do? What do you do? What are you going to have to learn how to do? Why are y'all looking at me like I'm dumb? What are you going to have to do? Use your left hand, right? So this calculator is like your left hand. If you forget how to do it by hand and on paper, it's okay. Do whatever you can to figure it out on your calculator. And then when you're solving equations, I'm going to show you how to use Desmos. Oh my goodness, it makes it so much easier. Does everybody understand? So you can't fail this exam. Like you cannot. There is absolutely, this is the easiest math exam that you'll ever take. Math 3 is so much easier than Math 1 and Math 2. And a lot of it is because it's full calculator active and mostly solving equations. So you put it into Desmos. It's real simple, okay? And I'll show you all of that. And this one is just really easy on this calculator, so that's why I picked it. So we're going to flip it around. All right. So look at these. There's a couple like this on there. And again, they're not hard if you use your calculator. They are hard by hand. Okay. Does everybody understand that? They are hard by hand. So this says set f of x equal to g of x. So we're going to take f of x, which is 2x cubed plus 2x minus 3. And we're going to set it equal to g of x. Like this. Now I'm going to go off of my screen for a minute and I'm going to open Desmos for you guys. And I'm going to show you Desmos. Anything that has an equal mark, please, 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 anything that has an equal mark, use Desmos for. All right, share my screen. Let me get some Desmos up here. So the hardest thing about Desmos is typing it in. So just make sure you type it in right. So we're going to do 2x to do, sorry, let me get on there. 2x. You do shift 6 to get it up there, shift 6 to the third. And then you have to move over to get out of that. Plus 2x minus 3. You can put the other one in the second equation or you can put it all at the same. And I'll show you the difference between the two. Absolute value is shift and the key above enter. We'll have that vertical line. X minus 4. And then that vertical line as well. You guys see where they cross? That's your answer. So what is the y value? The question asks, what is the y value? Can you guys see it? It's real light. Yeah, negative 1.75. So how hard was this question? All you had to know is how to set it up. Okay. So this one is negative 1.75. If we do it just like it is in the equation, let me show you. I'm going to leave it up here for just a minute. Absolute value, x minus 4, absolute value. Take off this blue line. If you can get it to show you what that is, it's really hard to do it like this unless it's a whole number. So that's why I show you both ways. So if it's equal, I would suggest that you do one and then the other, like y1, y2 in your calculator, but it gives you the exact answer. Don't do it in here because then you got to go to second trace, intersect, enter. It's too complicated. Does everybody understand that? So Desmos will help you. Desmos is the calculator that you get on your final exam. So the one that's linked into your testing session. Does that make sense? But you'll also have this one. So that's why I keep going back and forth, because this one is a little bit easier to graph. The other, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Okay, use whichever one you like. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing this and I'm going to go back to our paper. So that one was negative 1.75. And again, this one was on Desmos. All right. Trying to find some more like that. All right, so this one is piecewise and they're really easy as well. But you see how they set it up? It's just like that last one. They give you an expression for it. Sorry, we're on number 14. It says 3h of 2. So I'm going to write down my 3 first. And then I'm going to put some brackets because I'm not sure what h is going to entail. But it says h of 2. H of 2. So we look up here for our h's. Which one are we going to use out of these two if I'm plugging in 2? The one that's less than 2 or greater than or equal to 2? Plus 4 times g of 1. G of 1. So we're going to look at g. Which one would entail 1? Less than 3 or greater than or equal to 3? Mm-hmm. Is everybody okay where that stuff came from? Now we just plug in those numbers that they gave us. So in the first one, x is 2. And in the second one, x is 1. And now these I like to do all by hand, use the calculator just a little bit if I need to. What's 4 times 2? Plus 1 is? I'm sorry, it's 9. I went ahead of myself. Plus 4 times, what's 1 squared? Plus 2 is? 3 times 9 is? 27. If you don't know that at this point, you can use your calculator. 4 times 3 is? 12. What is 27 plus 12? That's your answer. That's it. Okay, you're going to get a lot where you have to work them out like this as well. But they're really easy. They're not hard once you know what you're doing. Okay. Here's another one just like that. You guys see it's exactly the same. All right. So this first one says h of negative 4. Which one deals with negative 4? The first one or the second one? The first one. Negative 1/2. You can go ahead and plug in your negative 4. Plus, this one says 3 times h of negative 2. Which one is that going to use? The second one, because it's greater than negative 4. So 20 minus 3. Watch this part right here. That's where it'll screw you up. If you put it in your calculator, you want your negative 2 in parentheses. I can literally type it in my calculator just like I see it. So I'm going to do alpha y equals negative 1/2. Delete that. Parenthesis, negative 4 minus 15 plus 3, parenthesis, 20 minus 3 times negative 2 squared. Does everybody see how that's exactly the same way? This is the part that'll mess you up. You have to put that negative 2 in parentheses. When I hit enter, what do I get? 11. That's all you guys got to do. How many really hard ones have we done? The synthetic, you just had to refresh. That's not a hard question. You probably just forgot how to do it, okay? But remember how to do synthetic because it's going to come back up. Is everybody good? Everything else has been fairly easy, right? I'm telling you, it's the easiest math exam you'll ever take. All right, let me go back through. All right, check this out. Let me see if I can get this to work on Desmos. I am on number 3. I went back to number 3. So number 3 gave you x to the third. Also, don't ever put another variable in other than x, okay? So if it gives you like a to the third, just put x in for Desmos. Plus 3x squared minus 2x minus 4. All right, you guys see those little dots at 0? Those are your zeros. So it said 1 is at -1, so that's this one. Does everybody see that? Okay. It says, what are the other zeros? So we're just going to write this one down. This one, I'm going to write it on my paper. I'll switch back in a minute. Is negative 3.236. So that already rules out A and B. And this one is 1.236. Okay. I'm going to stop sharing this for a second and I'm going to go back. I think I can just flip back and forth, but I'm just being extra, I guess. All right. So I wrote those two numbers down. And you can still do this in Desmos. It's just me being able to show you the numbers. I'm going to plug in ruled out A and B because those are whole numbers and I definitely didn't get whole numbers. I'm going to plug in -1 plus square root 5. Did I get one of those numbers? Yes. Check the other one. -1 minus square root 5. Did I get the second number? That's all you got to do. That's your answer. You don't have to do any work, guys. How much work have I done? The first question, right? It's really. All right. Same thing on this one. I would use Desmos to do this one because I'm really lazy and I don't want to do the work. Is everybody good? So here's how I would do that. This one will take some time just because of the way you have to put it in. So I'm going to start with that top part where it says x squared minus 2. I'm typing it in just like it has. X squared minus 2x minus 37. And then they have divide. So I can put it in just like that. And it's okay that it makes it like that. And then I have parenthesis x squared minus 3x minus 40. And you can do this with your regular calculator too. Like this will work, but this is easier for me to project and for you guys to see. Okay, so either one will work. It's just the way that you put it in. All right, and then I would put in my answers. 1 plus, we have x plus 3 divided by x squared minus 3x minus 40. Okay, check this out. See that blue line? All I did was click this side over here. It turned off that graph. So the blue line is the first one. If they're equal, it will graph over it. So A would be your answer. See how you don't have to do any work. Desmos is amazing, y'all. And your regular calculator will do that too as long as you put it in right. Now let me show you one that's not your answer. So the next one is the same thing. It just has a minus. See how it makes two different graphs? So when you see two different graphs, you know it's not your answer. All that work we've done all semester, this is all you have to do. So I got it? All right, so number 4 was A. I'm gonna stop sharing and go back. All right. How about I share the right thing? Sorry, y'all. Here we go. All right. So on this one, let's not do that one yet. This one. Do number 6. Look at number 6. That's the same thing that we just did as long as you can put it into your calculator, right? But I want to remind you that when we do these, there's an easier way to do them. So this one is actually easier to do by hand than putting it in your calculator. Can you put it in your calculator or in Desmos? You absolutely can. I don't like that there's so much going on in this one that I could mess up typing, okay? So first thing that you're gonna do is any negative exponents you wanna change, so you just flip them. So this is just a matter of changing this to x minus 2 to a positive 2, x squared minus 5x plus 6 to a positive 1, which it doesn't matter. Flip the other one too, because they're both negative exponents, x minus 2 squared over x minus 3 to the positive 1. And then a long time ago, I told you guys that we don't divide fractions, we flip and multiply. So the first one stays the same. We're going to change it to multiply, and we're going to flip the second one. And then we talked about if it's the same on the top and the bottom, then we can mark it out. Do you see anything already the same on the top and the bottom? X minus 2 squared, both of those will mark out. So we don't even have to put those. This is what I'm talking about. It'll reduce itself out. What are your factors of 6 that add to negative 5? What kind? Negative 2 and negative 3. Do you see something the same on the top and the bottom? So the only thing I left was an x minus 2 on the bottom. Which one has an x minus 2 on the bottom? That's it. Now, I will go back and show you Desmos, but you're going to have to watch how you put it in, okay? So I'm going to stop sharing this. Is everybody okay with it? You guys got it? Yes, no, maybe? Okay. And then I'm going to go back to Desmos. And I'm going to hope it works because it's a lot to put in. All right, so the very beginning, x squared, nope, minus 5x plus 6 to the negative 1 divided by x minus 2 to the negative 2. And then we have to do another divided by, so it's going to make a big, huge, complicated fraction. I'm just going to let you know, but it's fine. X minus 3 to the negative 1. You got to get outside of that, divided by x minus 2 to the negative 2. So can you do it in Desmos? You sure can. Now you have to put all your answers in. Now this is me and I'm lazy. Nobody said you have to put A, B, C, D in order. Does that make sense? So if I'm looking at my paper, C and D look easier to put in than A and B. So I'm lazy and I put those in first so I don't have to work as hard. Okay, so I'm hoping that those are the answers so I don't have to worry about it. So if we did the first one, 1 divided by x minus 3. This is C. You guys can see that that's 2 different lines, so we know it's not the right answer. The other one was x minus 2, and you can see that it graphed over. And if you're not sure if it did or not because you were typing it and it looked, click that little squiggly line right there, and it'll turn it off and turn it back on every time you click it. So we can see that D is the answer. So can I do this one in Desmos? Yes. Is it maybe a little bit quicker by hand? Probably. Okay, but if you forget, cut off your right arm, use your left arm. Got it? All right. I'm going to stop sharing this and go back to my paper. And we'll do just a few more and then we'll quit. All right. 12 is straight Desmos. Number 12 is straight Desmos. Number 11 can also be Desmos. I'll go back to it. Actually, 11 cannot be Desmos because it has two variables. So I'll show you it by hand. It's really easy. So it said a polynomial has a lead coefficient of 1 and exactly 3 distinct zeros, and it tells you that they are -1, 2, and 4. What does this mean? Multiplicity of 2 compared to multiplicity of 1. Not multiplied by 2. What's it mean? You guys don't remember that? All right, multiplicity of 1 means it happens one time. So for example, I'm going to show you down here. X minus 1 means that positive 1 is your answer, happens one time. That's a multiplicity of 1. X minus 4 squared means that we have the answer positive 4 2 times. That's a multiplicity of 2. So it happens twice. What this causes in the graph is a bounce. You guys remember talking about those bounces. So it would look like your graph would come here and just touch once. If it's a multiplicity of 1, it goes through it. Okay, so that's a multiplicity of 1. This is a multiplicity of 2 or 4 or 6 or whatever it is. Okay. So here's what it says. Try to get all of this on at one time. All right. -1 has a multiplicity of 2. That means it happens twice, or there's a bounce at -1. It goes through 2 and it goes through 4. So how many zeros do we actually have? How many zeros do we actually have? I see 3, but how many do we actually have? We have 4, right? So if there are 4, your highest power for your answer has to be 4. Does everybody see that? So that automatically takes these away. So I don't even have to check these. Again, because it has a multiplicity of 2, that means X equals -1, -1, 2, and 4. Does everybody see that? All right. So then I'm going to stop sharing. Actually, I'll just do it in my regular calculator, just so you guys can see it in there. It works either way. I'm going to put this in X to the 4th minus 4X to the 3rd minus 3X squared plus 10X plus 8 to make sure I put it in right. And then I'm going to graph it. And I'm looking for those 4 answers. So there's your bounce at -1. It cut through 2 and it cut through 4. Did I see it? That's it. That's your answer. I'm going to show you the one that's not true so that you guys can see it as well. All right. So X to the 4th plus 4X to the 3rd minus 3X squared minus 10X minus 8, just to show you what it looks like when it's not the answer so that you guys can see it. You see it went through -4 and -2 and bounced at +1. Does everybody see that? So they're just opposite signs. Is everybody good? That's it. So zeros are where it crosses the x-axis. All right. Look at number 11. We'll get number 11. And number 12 could have been done in Desmos. I just didn't want to flip back and forth. This is just factoring. This is just factoring. So look at all of your answers. Test taking strategies. What do all your answers have? What do you see? So what? A 3. That means we have a GCF of 3. It's automatically going to happen. Does everybody see that? So I know, hey, I can take out a GCF of 3. The question is, do I have a GCF of X? Do both of them have an X? Yes. Does everybody see how that worked? All right, so I know it's going to be 3X. So then I'm going to see what 48 divided by 3 is. It is 16. But I took an X out, so it's 16X squared. Still going to have a minus. 243 divided by 3 is 81. But I took an X out, so it's going to be Y squared. At this point, you should know your answer without doing any work, okay? Both of them have 4s, both of them have 9, so we know it's going to be, I'm sorry, not 9, but 4X and 9Y. But the question is it 2 negatives, or is it a negative and a positive? Why is it a negative and a positive? There's no middle term. This is pairs and share. You guys remember doing pairs and shares? When there's no middle term, they have to be able to cancel out. So that's what those signs mean. So your answer has to be D. So use test taking strategies. If you see a 3 outside, that's a good start. Hey, I got to take out a 3. Maybe I take out an X. That eliminated. Now you got a 50-50 shot. Does everybody understand? Okay. Test taking strategies. All right. Look at number 2. I'm going to go to Desmos for this one. And I'm going to put this function in. It is 2x to the 5th minus 13x to the 4th. If I type something in wrong, y'all let me know. Plus 22x to the 3rd minus 187x to the 2nd minus 160x plus 336. All right, you guys see this function? It says the function below has x minus 7 and x plus 4i as factors. And it says how many total real zeros. Real zeros means that you can see them, okay? So I'm going to minimize this for a minute and get my face out of the way. And I'm going to zoom out. There's your 7. Does everybody see that? Okay. How many times does it cross the x-axis? 3. How many real zeros does it have? 3. That's all you do. Okay, so real zeros means how many times does it cross the x-axis. Then if you guys look, just to teach a moment, let me stop sharing and get back to this. Anytime you have this, you see that little I? Everybody see that I? You're going to have x plus 4i. You will automatically have x minus 4i. So this is 2 imaginary solutions. Does everybody understand that? Imaginary solutions. And we worked with imaginary numbers. This 5 tells us that there's going to be how many solutions? How many solutions is going to be in this problem if my power is 5? 5 solutions, right? So I already did 2 right here that were imaginary. So how many do I have left? 3 real. I don't have to do the work, but it's just so you guys can see. So go ahead and graph it. How many zeros does it have? Any questions on number 2? All right. 4. I'll come back. We're almost done with it. All right, let's knock out number 5. It's probably the worst one on this section. These are the ones that are drag and drop. All of these are possible answer choices for number 1. And when you figure it out, you just drag it up to there. 1 is what your A is in this problem, your B and your C is. All right. This one, you're probably going to have to do by hand. Anything like this, you're probably going to have to do by hand. So the way that we work this out is we just look at this part right here and we're going to add these up. Remember, to add fractions, we have to have common denominators. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to move down over here where I have lots of room so you guys can see. So 3x minus 5 over 4x plus 3 plus negative 2x minus 1. I'm sorry, plus 1 over 7x minus 2. We did these not too long ago. Remember, I told you it's kind of like cross multiply and then multiply the bottoms. Okay. So we're going to do 3x minus 5 times 7x minus 2. So we're cross multiplying. We're going to do 4x plus 3 and negative 2x plus 1. And on the bottom, multiply the bottoms together. 4x plus 3, 7x minus 2. We will stop after this problem, okay? I promise we will. This one will be the worst one. That's why I saved it for last. So now we have to multiply all 3 of these parts out. Okay, so I have to multiply this part out, and this part out. You should not turn in a blank sheet of paper. There's no way. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Actually try, please, please try. So we're going to start with this one, and I'm going to go do it over here. 3x minus 5, 7x minus 2. You can do the box. I do double distribute. 3x times 7x is 21x squared. 3x times negative 2 is negative 6x. Distribute your negative 5 times 7 is negative 35x. And negative 5 times negative 2 is a positive 10. I'm going to put it together up here. So 21x squared minus 41x plus 10. So that's this one done. Is everybody good? Now I got to do the next one. 4x plus 3. And these questions that you have to do all this work on are few and far between. There's like maybe 3 or 4 of them. Okay, so don't stress out. Distribute your 4x, you get negative 8x squared plus 4x. Distribute your 3, you get negative 6x and a 3. And I'm going to put that together up here. It's got a plus, so that's good. If it had a minus, then I would have to change all these signs. So watch that. That would be one thing they would do to mess you up. So plus, and I'm just going to write it as negative 8x squared. 4 minus 6 is negative 2x, and then a plus 3. So I did this part. Now I need to do the bottom. All right, I lied. I don't have to do the bottom. And why do I not have to do the bottom? Look at your answer. The bottom doesn't really matter, right? So we're just going to leave it alone. Okay. Now it's just a matter of adding like terms and you'll have your answer. So 21x squared minus 8x squared is 13x squared. If you guys look, there's your 13. Then you're going to do your x's. We have a negative 41 and a negative 2, which makes negative 43x. And then the last one, 10 plus 3 is 13. So you would drag those to the boxes. And that is it. So it looked a mess, but it wasn't bad. Just a lot of multiplying. They put these on here so that you have to do some kind of work, because to do this like in a Desmos, you would have to be like 12x squared negative, you know what I'm saying? Like you'd have to have so many different combinations. You're never going to figure that out. All right. So again, just do it like this and you'll be done. All right. Any questions? Okay. So what I'm going to do is stop here. I will do the other 2 tomorrow and start on the second packet. I do not think we will finish it either. What you need to do for me is go into Canvas and make sure that you upload pictures of the notes that you took. That's it. Okay, that's your assignment for today. So Zoomers, make sure you take notes, pictures of the notes that you took, and then you are good to go for the rest of the day. Thanks, guys.